My name is Dan Cox. I'm in the First District. And I'm going to start, Mr. Magriba, and I wanted to make a comment about what you said. That was obviously very well researched. You spent some good time looking at all that budget stuff, and I thought you did a fantastic presentation. But I would like to point out one thing, is that everything that you said is undone in that water authority. Everything. It goes against everything that you put in there, that you commented on the checks and balances that the budget and this committee has. Because that water authority, once those folks are put in there, y'all get no say. We the voters get no say. They can pass bonds. You want to talk about putting us all on the hook for budget stuff, money? They can pass bonds and we can't vote against it. The only way we can do anything about it is take them to court. And you know how long that takes. They're not required to stop while all that's going on. People have commented about eminent domain. Now, as far as knowledge about this bill, I know there's a lot of people who've read it. I read it over pretty good. One of the things about the eminent domain is they're not required to follow anybody else's pathway. They don't have to go off of what is already established for other people. They can come to your edge of your property and decide it's best to go straight through the middle of it. And there's nothing within that legislation and nothing that this county commission can do to stop them from doing that. As it was pointed out also, there's nothing on this that says these guys that are being appointed have to have any knowledge or experience with all this stuff. And they're going to hire somebody to come in and take that over. And that person, that executive that they hire to run the water authority and do all that stuff, he doesn't have to be qualified either. But he can hire whoever he wants and puts the water authority on the hook for that. While they put us on the hook for a bond. And you know how they get that bond? They put into the bond, before they've built anything, what the fees are they're going to charge us for that service. Before it's even established, before they even know how much it's going to cost or anything, they go ahead and establish that, and that's how they float that bond. So aside from that, aside from those important points, I hope y'all go ahead and vote tonight to strike this down. Because, and let me just make this real clear, even if this water authority passes, it has some very serious civil rights issues with it. 60% of the county lives in the rural area, and we get 40% of the representation on that board. That is absolutely not okay. Okay, that is not equal protection under the law. That's not equal representation. And when we go through and we look too about how the water authority operates, no, that's not due process. That's being dictated to about what's going to happen. Additionally, from what I understand, I don't know how many people in this room would like to see Humphreys County become just like Dixon County. But Dixon County is one of the first ones in Tennessee that got a water authority. And you can go and research this yourself. The water authority is the back door. That's how they get these developments approved. And in 2021, the Planning Commission in Dixon County had multiple meetings where they had 5 or more developments come up to get approved. They even had one in 2021 that had 10 different developments coming up to be approved. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I really don't care if anywhere in Humphreys County ever gets a Dunkin' Donuts. If we ever get another McDonald's, I don't care. As a matter of fact, I think it would be a detriment to the whole county. But I would really hope that in looking at this, that y'all understand there's a much bigger issue than just how we're going to handle sewage and how we're going to treat water. Because, like I said, this is the avenue where these big developers who are just outside our door, who finished messing up Dixon County, are ready to come down here and buy up 300 and 500 acre tracts and make a deal with the water authority to put in a bunch of stuff that usually is put in substandard real fast and then just hand it off, and we get stuck with the bill to fix it. Anyway, thank you.